Big guy story time. I did just get out of prison. Not for anything weird, mostly bestiality and necrophilia. And before you want to judge me, remember, I'm a straight fucking dog, homie. You know, one thing I found was pretty funny was when everybody in prison is asked what the most important thing in their life is, they always say family and loyalty, which is pretty ironic because if that was the case, they definitely wouldn't be in there. Call me crazy, but I think the most important thing to a fent addict is probably fent, and to a meth addict putting their finger up their butt. Also, Trump just so happened to start World War III when I was in there, and the same people whose complete identity is hating the government immediately sided with the United States government. And to all you guys out there who are fathers to daughters, I recommend you figure your shit out because a lot of your daughters really like the fact that I'm a felon. It's not a good look, buddy. And that's a word that I really hate, buddy. It's never not condescending. Everybody who's watching this and calls other people buddy, fuck you. I know why you call people buddy. Buddy. You know, one thing prison is really good for is getting out of your comfort zone. Because who really gives a fuck what any of these retarded drug addicts thinks of you? Now, don't get me wrong, there's some good people in prison. Not very many, but there are some. Most of the people there are just losers and drug addicts, or just overall pieces of shit like myself. And really the only scary thing about prison is the fact that every single time you wipe your ass, there's blood on the toilet paper and you think you have some sort of cancer or butthole disease. But really, it's just the John Wayne toilet paper. It's rough, tough, and don't take shit off nobody. At the prison that I was at, there was not a whole lot of politicking going on, which has its positives and negatives. On the downside, a lot of retards talk shit with almost no repercussions. On the upside, you don't have to fight Mexicans, because you know what they say, you fight one bean, you fight the whole burrito. And there was always that old, fat piece of shit who did nothing but watch his tablet and lay in his bed all day. And that motherfucker would always say something along the lines of, "Yeah, I remember when I was young. I remember when I was in good shape. Wait till you hit 40. To which I would always respond, "I will never look like you because I'm not a lazy piece of shit." Also, it took away the little sympathy I had for homeless people because most of the time homeless people are just pieces of shit, drug addicts who burned every single bridge in their life and chose drugs over their family. Once again, ironic that when you ask these people what the most important thing in their life is, they always say family. All I have to say is thank God that I'm as vain as I am, because if not, I might end up like all of you, ugly and addicted to drugs. Now, the majority of the people in prison are either in there for drugs or beating their wife. To the people who got in trouble for beating their wife, I say amateur. The funny thing is, when they get out, they always go back into the same relationship, and the girl always takes them back. Truly a match made in heaven. I always find it kind of funny how people end up going back to prison over and over again for beating their wife. I just think, man, you must really love her. Man, where can I get that kind of love? Man, I should try that. Sounds like it must be pretty awesome because you just can't stop. And before you guys get all pissy about the things that I'm saying, I am a Fed, and these opinions are the official stance of the United States government. Because nobody quite likes hitting their wife like public servants. And if you have a problem with anything I'm saying, I'm probably better looking than you. Or you're a woman. And in which case, nothing you say really matters. Don't blame me, blame the patriarchy, which I fully support. There's not as much in prison as I thought there'd be, which was pretty disappointing to say the least. I had to go almost the entire time I was there without getting any play whatsoever. I mean, I was going through such a dry spell, I just went and said, what does a pimp have to do to get some play around here? Turns out not much. Overall, 6 months in prison isn't even that bad. It sucks to go through it, but it's a very transformative experience, and you're glad you went through it. Kind of like those childhood weekends with your uncle that you can't quite remember. Give me a follow, because if you don't, you're gay. Bon suit, my friends. You should give me a follow so we can do this again sometime.